Good morning. We're going to switch it up again today. And if you allow me, I'd like you to participate in a little mental exercise, as it were. Now, I'm going against mainstream psychology because this isn't written in a book. However, I think maybe someday someone else might think that this may be a good model to help people. And I sat down and I created it while I was getting stoned. So, you know, just another stoner idea. But here we go. We're going to talk about ego and not what it is, whether or not you're egotistical, none of that judgment shit. Who gives a fuck? But how you can see it within yourself. Now, this is where we're going to divert a little bit because shamanism or the search within, mysticism, all these things usually require an altered state of mind to have the first conversation. Talk to spirits, things of that nature. This is documented fact before the stupid laws of the United States government and our current regime. But it's been going on for thousands of years. Rome, they had a festival where they ate a fish for a month, and it still exists. You can still go and fish it up. It's highly hallucinogenic. But I don't recommend hallucinogens as the answer. I don't at all. I think we're already in such an altered state of mind from the chemicals and the things that they put in the food and the air and the water and everything else. I think we're already in an altered state of mind. So, how would one go about looking at themselves honestly and critically without the very things that they lie to themselves about to stop them from seeing that they're creating a problem with their actions? How would one go about this? There's all kinds of great psychology books and therapy sessions and all kinds of shit. What if you're really smart? What if you just want the cut bones and dry of it? What if? So, that little blip of information, a little sidebar, let's get into it. Bear with me. This is just, a social experiment, as it were. So, first off, what is ego? Ego is the things that we make up about ourselves that we hold to be true. That's my definition. That's what ego is to me. This, and this is true. It's just like a tough guy until a real tough guy gets a hold of them. And then their ego deflates because they act tough and they're mean and bullyish towards people until they're bullied. Breaks the power. That's one example of how, unfortunately, life can give you a lesson about trying to be tough or being smart or being skilled or anything else. If you say you're the best, someone's going to come show you you're not. What about somebody that doesn't just want to be the best? They just think they're the shit about whatever. Not that they are, they aren't. Just how do you see it? How do you gauge it for yourself? Not even if you want to heal it. Not even that. This idea is different. I'm going to give you an idea of how to look at your ego and just see it for what it is. That's all. Okay. Imagination scenario. You're watching a movie. It's your favorite movie. Whatever. Doesn't matter the context of anything other than you yourself are watching a movie. You think of that, right? It's pretty easy to think about. You just watched a movie last week, right? No problem. Okay, here we are. It's real simple. Now, in your mind, I want you to make up an imaginary person sitting on the couch watching the movie with you. Take all the time you need. Doesn't matter who this person is, where they're from. That's all yours to create. You do it however you want. It's another person on the couch. And this is just made up. It's not like we need to go far with this, but now there's a person that watched the movie with you. Hope you brought your fucking paddle boards. I want you to sit down, take some time, as much as you want after this video, whatever, because I'm just going to talk my way through it. And then you can just see what it looks like for you. Because this is a personal thing for you, my viewers, a tool for you. So, that made up person, I want you to now try to imagine what that made up person felt watching the movie. You can make up as much background as you want, like why they went through these traumatic episodes and so they cried at the same part you did, or they thought that was because they're this kind of person over here and so they really didn't think that was funny and they thought that was cruel and they were extra fucking laughy at this part that you thought was shitty. I want you to try, spend some time, maybe make a list. It's a weird social experiment. And just think about why they experienced the movie the way they did. It's your made up person. It's your made up life story for them. It's your made up. So you should be able to figure out why they felt like they felt when they watched that movie with you. And did they feel the same way as you? Did they feel the opposite? How'd they feel? You can make this up. It's all you to make up. It's not about being right or wrong. There's no social construct here where there's a trap. This isn't a wolf trap. This is an anti wolf trap. How did they feel about it? Really take some time and create this imaginary person and then take some time to think about how they felt about the movie. And it's your favorite movie, so you know exactly how you feel about it. My question is, can you do this? I did it. I sat down and did it before I even tried to tell you about it. Someone's got to start doing it first before it becomes something that people can do, right? So I did it. I went a long way into this mental exercise. You go, why'd you do this? I don't know. I just had a good idea and I wanted to follow it. So I did. Here's the conclusion of the social experiment. No matter how much I made up for that person, for me, the things that were different about that imaginary person from myself were actually parts of myself that I don't vocalize. Oh, I'm going to get flagged. But if you stop and you think about this imaginary person that you just came up with, and it's all your creation, are there any aspects of that imaginary person that are you that you're not talking about, that you're not thinking about? Do they have a different life because you wish you had a different life? Do they have different relationships with people and their bank account and all these other things? Do you see any correlations? I did. It was really fun. The imaginary me is more of a goofball than I am. It shows me where I'm headed. Because I realized that the imaginary person that I had made on the couch was a future version of me, or the current version of me that I either agreed or disagreed with. Very few people would think to disagree with themselves when making up an imagine. Why would somebody that you don't like be sitting on the couch next to you watching a movie with you unless they also like the movie? See these subconscious routines that we don't think about, but we created that way, didn't we? And a few of you probably didn't. You're deeper thinkers. But that's even better because if you created somebody you don't like sitting on the couch next to you, that's also you. because your mind works in a way that that is possible as an idea, not what the idea is, not whether it's good or bad, not whether it reflects your current life. It's how your mind actually thinks. And now, through this dumb exercise, you can see. See, I think the only problem in the world is people are disconnected from themselves. I really do. I believe that everything else is a secondary problem or a ripple effect from a secondary problem. But the first one is that people are disconnected from themselves. You've never hurt a kid. If you had kids, someone tried to hurt your kid, you know how you'd react. But if you've never had a kid, how do you have an opinion on having kids? You see? And this is what I mean is it's not even about your ego. It's about how your mind works. It's your concept of what an ego is that makes it manageable or unmanageable. It's the education that you've given yourself. No matter what anyone's ever told you, you've only kept the things that you thought were worth keeping. You've only hung on or learned knowledge that you wanted based on what you wanted. Everything else you've disregarded or forgotten. This is true of all of us. I'm not some. This is life. But sometimes we get off track. We forget this, your imaginary friend or enemy, is a very easy way to determine truthfully what's going on. If you don't have a mirror, if you can't look in a mirror, if you can't honestly criticize yourself, if you try this, it might make you cry, or it might make you laugh, it might make you angry, you might be offended with me. That's okay. But just try it. Give it an honest go. It's your imagination. I don't know. Although I have an idea, the church, where imagination became outlawed. Intervention is a mechanic of imagination, but imagination is a starting point. Healing yourself sometimes takes creative thought. Sometimes changing your life takes constructive criticism. And if you're like me, I'm kind of a knucklehead. I'll do what I want, right? I tell myself what to do. No one else does. But I also find myself morally responsible for how I interact with other people. It's not a matter of talking to other people, it's a matter of talking to yourself. And here's a creative way for you to try. And be honest. Be honest with yourself. Because no matter, even if you go, no, I'm going to make it like this because I didn't agree with him, well, then you're not trying the social experiment, and that's fine. It was just an idea that you could take or leave as you wanted. But if you do decide to try this, remember, no matter what, that is who you are. That's how your mind works. That's how you create an imaginary person. That's the ideas and the thoughts and the love and the fear and the hate that your imagination projects into the world at all times. Period. And if you love yourself, be honest with yourself. And if you hate yourself, then you should be honest why you hate yourself. And you should really take the time to understand yourself. What a weird social experiment, right? I'd encourage you to spend hours creating your fake person, this imagination person that sat and watched a movie with you. Because there's nobody else to judge you over it. There's no one to tell you that you're wrong or that you're right. The more information you put into this, the better a map of understanding of where you are. And if you don't like some of the ways that you think, just focus on one. Figure it out. I made a bunch of videos, but really what I talk about is the psychology of starting or stopping something new, and it takes 61 days. So maybe the way you talk to one person is just fucked up. So consciously, every time you see that person, be nice for 61 days until it's changed. Like, it really is that easy once you have direction to self correct course. And not for anybody else, for yourself. If you're going to be so greedy and so needy, this will enhance it for you. It'll show you where you need more or you need less. Or maybe you just need to explore because you don't know how much is out there in that direction. I thought this was a pretty good talking point to start with. This little social experiment, as it were. It's a lot of fun philosophy. There's no limits on it. You know, you start using random words and nonsense. You can't make coherent thought. Everything you say sounds like you belong in the nut house. Well, that's not philosophy. Sometimes, if you think about it right, you can find the most beautiful ideas on the edge of insanity. And it's insane, wouldn't you agree? To want to sit down and spend hours making up an imaginary person that watches a movie next to you? Except I explained to you the parameters of how it'll help you map your own mind. So it absolutely sounds insane without explanation. It sounds like a waste of time unless you're seeking truth. And it didn't cost you anything. It's already yours now. It's free. I created it just so you could have it. It's a pretty good deal, right? I always make good deals. Good deals are my bread and butter. They are. So this idea, I hope it helps. I hope in some way, shape, or form you find some merit in it and you report back and you go, hey, listen, so I did this thing and I came up with these things. And because of this, and because I started thinking a little bit differently, I created XYZ. See how I win by helping you? When I just want to see new things and new creations, beautiful things in the world in every aspect. The highest form of art is language. Can't have art without the descriptive of language. You get it? And like to use words to paint, to create concepts and ideas that cause reactions that you have no control over nor wish to. The idea of higher thought. I like it. I have a lot of fun with it. And I hope that, if nothing else, you have a silly time making a clone of yourself on the couch. That's how it ended up for me. But I'm betting from a lack mindset, I could create a whole different person sitting next to me on the couch. And the duality of that, based on whether the glass is half full or half empty, which, by the way, I heard the most amazing analogy. If the glass is half full, then it's 51% water and it's 49% air, therefore making it completely full. And since it's actually submerged at that ratio, then you could only say that 51% of the cup is in transit to being completely full of air. Isn't that interesting? I like it. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. Just want to get on here and touch bases, tell you guys good morning, let you see my smiling face. It's going to take me 3 hours to download the video. It always does. There's no way around it. The worst phone in the world. But it still works and I can still get through. And that's all that matters. So anyway, one other thing. Just real quick while we're here. I think this is important too. Get grateful. I don't care what it's for, but you should try it. Because if you're grateful for things, it doesn't matter what you don't have. Me, I'm just grateful for the ability to think clearly, to think deeply, to love strongly, even when the whole world is against me. That's okay. I'll just start a big forest fire. And then it's nice and warm and there's plenty of light. Somebody will see it.